Hey guys, so I had to do a voiceover because there's always a lot of noise. So I am gonna do a blanket and I have to do applique on a blanket. I'm doing this as a gift for a friend. So what I'm doing here is explaining how I want to use HTV, but I am going to adhere it to fabric. So after I do that, I am going to open up this blanket because I don't want the embroidery to be seen on the other side. Usually blankets have two pieces. So I am going to unstitch that and open up the blanket so that I can hoop it. And I actually didn't like using HTV for this one. It's the first time I do it, but I wanted to see how it went. It turned out okay, but if I was to do it again, I wouldn't use HTV. So right here, I already opened the blanket and I want to put the applique on the corner. And make sure, if you do open the blanket, just make sure that you open it big enough so that there's not a lot of fabric on the arm of the embroidery machine. And this is an option you can do. You can print out a template of your applique. That way you can kind of see where you want to put it at, how you want to hoop. I do it when I'm not sure of how things are going to go. So since it's the first time I do this, I went ahead and printed out a template that is exactly the size that it's going to embroider. So all you do on your program is print, and you want to choose the print template only, and it's gonna literally just print out a template of your applique. And I'm waiting for my machine to finish so that I can do the blanket. I need another machine, guys. I love my machine and I am already thinking about getting another one. So right here, I am using the hoop that came with the machine. This is the 8x12 hoop. And as you can see right here, I'm looking where I want it. I also opened the blanket because I don't like tearaway. I think I already said that before. But I don't like tearaway at all. So I want to use cutaway. I just like how embroidery stitches out better. That's why I opened the blanket so that all that stabilizer stays inside the blanket. And using these hoops is hard. They're so slippery. I prefer the mighty hoops, but the llama was so tall it did not fit in the mighty hoop, and I wanted the name to be big, so I didn't want to resize anything. I wanted everything to be the size that I liked. That's why I went with this hoop, which turned out to be, it came out good. So right here, pretty much just hooping that. I pinned my template with some pins, so that way when I go to the embroidery machine and I trace, I make sure that it's tracing all around my template. That way, you know, it's right where I want it. And right here, I'm just fixing that. Okay, so I have to adjust the arms of the embroidery machine because I'm using the bigger hoop now. So you do have to adjust that. Since I always use the mighty hoop, I always have the arms smaller. So right here, I'm just measuring, making sure that it is gonna fit. And then I will tighten these screws again. And it's been already 5 months since I have had my machine, and I'm still very much in love with it. I have not had no issues other than your usual thread breaks, but I mean that's with every machine. I use it every day. It's been 5 months and I still use it every day. I don't run it all day every day, but I do run it maybe about 4 hours every morning, and then I give it a break all afternoon and then work on it again at night. Right here I'm tracing with needle 1, making sure that it's covering where I want the llama. And as you can see, it fit pretty good. So I had to adjust it because she was higher. So I did have to adjust her to go lower. And that's when I traced to make sure that she was going to be right where I wanted her. So right here, I'm just going to pick colors. And I already showed you guys how I do that. You pretty much I already have a video on it if you want to go see that. And I am going to use water soluble stabilizer on here because of the name. And I'll show you right now when I do the applique. But since right now I am doing the name, you want to use water soluble stabilizer so that your stitches don't sink in the furry fabric, the minky fabric, or the name won't be that noticeable. So water soluble stabilizer when doing blankets. And then after it does the name, I do remove it so that I can do the applique, and then I place it again. You'll see in a minute. And this font is called Brooklyn, I think, from Etsy. I know I'm gonna get asked. Then just smoothing out the water soluble stabilizer so that it doesn't get bunched up in the embroidery. The machine goes so fast that the stabilizer kind of wants to crunch and bunch in there. You can pin it if you want, but I didn't. Also, you can wet the edges of the stabilizer so that if you get them wet and press them down, they'll actually adhere to the blanket a little bit. So that way you don't have to do what I'm doing right here, trying to smooth it out. So let's fast forward that. Okay, so right here I am doing the HTV. I adhered the HTV to a piece of fabric because I don't want to adhere it to the minky. So I did use a cotton fabric, and if I was to do this again, I would not use HTV. I would just use regular fabric or minky fabric or something else. I didn't really like the outcome of it, but like I said, it's the first time I do it. If I was to do it again, I wouldn't do the HTV. It turned out okay. You'll see in the end how it turns out, but like I said, if I was to do it again, I would not use HTV. After it does the applique, what I do is then I do add the water soluble stabilizer after it does the applique. Okay, so right here I'm just gonna cut that out. And I had told you guys I didn't like using the feature that comes with the machine that you can pull out your, see right there I did it. You pull out your hoop so that you can cut the fabric. I don't like using that because if I could change something about this machine, it would be that when you press that button for your hoop to come out in order for you to cut the fabric, I wish that button would turn red so that you can hit go. Because if you forget, then the machine is going to start embroidering and your hoop is out. I think they should have changed that. They should have made that button turn red so that you can't start embroidering unless you put the hoop back in position, if that makes sense. So see right here, I'm doing the stabilizer on top again so that the stitches don't sink after I did the applique. I didn't want to put the water soluble stabilizer under the applique because of the fabric that I was going to use. So I let it do the applique and then I did the water soluble stabilizer on top. So right here I'm just going to let it finish so you guys can see how it stitches out, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the end.